So this is a screenshot of how much I made in the last 4 weeks running my business, Bit Media01. We primarily do real estate media, and I just want to break down kind of, what got me or led me to this point. And then I also want to break down where I'm going to be going or leaning into going in the future of how I want to achieve the next goal. After reaching this point, I've realized a few things. I realized that a lot of it directly correlates with your ability to execute the inputs that you need in order to get the output that you want, and also your self-belief. A majority of the time I feel as though it's sort of surreal, and it's surreal in a way that it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It just doesn't feel natural in a sense, what we're doing or what I'm trying to accomplish. And so the uncertainty of trying to achieve the goals that I'm trying to achieve is much higher. But at the end of the day, it also feels like I'm way more in control of achieving that goal because I'm the only one that can do anything about it. And getting to this point definitely allowed me to realize that we all have a self-belief with what we're capable of charging, for one, and also what we think we can accomplish or do. And I firmly believe that if we don't work hard enough, we don't see the potential that we have within ourselves. And after going through a lot of the gruesome moments, that we won't be able to rediscover what our new self-value or worth is. And so getting to this point allowed me to see that without all of the amount of time I had spent on learning about business in particular, and trying to build my business, that I wouldn't be able to value myself now, who I am and what I am able to offer to people, the same way at all. And I think a lot of it does come down to conviction as well within what I know I'm able to deliver on, because of the fact that I have done it over and over and over again. Being very accessible at a very accessible price point allows you to get the experience that you essentially need to getting to the point where you can charge however much you want. After a certain point, you have to kind of realize the value of your service, but also who you are as a person and where you come from and what you've been able to accomplish and how you were able to accomplish it. To break down a little bit about my story, I've started multiple different companies ever since I've been in high school. And I've learned multiple different marketing channels that have allowed me to get to this point. It was me completely building my company from the ground up and having things built out so that it can produce. I think if you're in a situation where you want to get to that point, it's about evaluating who you are, what your skill sets are, and being able to efficiently and effectively put those things into play so that you can then get the output that you want or require. And then it just becomes constant repetition of doing the same thing over and over so that you can get to the point that you want to get to. It's almost like Alex Ramosi always says, of doing the unscalable until it's scalable. And it couldn't be more true. It's allowing yourself to build a big enough bankroll so that you can, or a big enough amount of money in your pocket so that you can then go into a bigger vehicle. Be able to do this and generate this for your own business. It just matters about how you're going about building the longevity of the company and how the Legos will essentially fall into place when you build the foundations for them to. And especially if you're in a service-based business, you're able to completely change the trajectory by doing more input and building systems around those inputs so that you can make sure that they're high leverage, or just doing higher leverage activities that provide you with far more success. After having such a foundational level kind of being built out already, now it's about how we can do it a lot faster and improve it much more. And so what it all kind of comes down to from how I've been able to even get here in the first place, and moving forward what I want to do and how I want to position myself to get to, whatever goal that I want to get to. And to make that goal sort of public, I want to be at generating around 50 grand a month, and I want to do it with the same people I want to do it with just me and Angela. Like, I don't even want to do it with anybody else or necessarily bring anybody on board for the team. And that's because I want to be able to position myself at a way higher price point, doing lower volume with way more money and bigger projects by selling to richer people. Like that's like the simplest way to put it. And so, yeah, like the way that we're going to position ourselves is by being the best in the industry and betting on ourselves to be able to do far more than what these other people are doing. That's what the challenge is all about. I guess that's what the risk is all about. It's betting on yourself to be able to call yourself the best in any industry and trying to achieve that goal each and every single day. And when you're able to eventually fulfill on that goal, you're able to see the fruits of that labor. But to get there, you have to go through not being the best and just doing it over and over and over again. And at this point, we've shot over $50 million worth of real estate. We've helped people sell houses in less than 2 days. When it comes to the real estate media perspective and what we're able to deliver, it's an exceptional delivery. I just want to keep raising the bar for the company. And I also find that it's far more enjoyable for us to work on projects where we're actually giving it our all and trying to make it the absolute best. Because, I don't know, without that, there isn't enough energy in a sense. And it's not to say that businesses can't succeed with the constant repetition of having the same amount of work, the exact same thing over and over and over again. That's how 90% of businesses are ran, and they're extremely functional and grow exceptionally well. But you can either service a shit ton of people at a way lower price point, or you can service a few amount of people at a way higher price point, given that your services are extremely exceptional and being very good at what you do. Well, I think that's the easiest way to obtain wealth in today's day and age. I don't think it's to try to serve the masses and try to serve a poorer audience. It's to go after people or to have an ICP to help people that already have the money that you're looking for and providing them with an exceptional service and value that they feel dumb saying no to quote Alex Ramosi. And so, yeah, that's the next step that I'm taking into getting to that goal. And it's repositioning the way that we're coming off within our marketing so that we can produce, or we can get onto higher end jobs and start to produce content and marketing plans for some of the most beautiful real estate that's on the market in our area and eventually around the globe. When money is not an issue, it feels 100 times better being able to do that and target that. You know, it feels as though everything is moving exceptionally well. It sort of feels like us taking this approach is the absolute best thing that we can do for many different reasons. And I think it's the best approach that a lot of businesses can get into after having their, I want to say, startup phase and building a somewhat of a basic foundation. To me, it's about how you can navigate how you want to paint the picture for your business. I painted the picture for my business long term as this high volume real estate media company, but I'm very slowly taking that out of the picture entirely. And it's because of the fact that I don't want it to be commoditized. I don't want to target like that. I just don't want to be known as being the number one guy for all realtors. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be known as being the guy that's too expensive because of the fact that he has the best work. And if I can afford him, I will pay for him. And that's if they can even get in the room with me. That's where I want to be. And so it just positions me at a point where our work speaks for itself and like we're not just commoditized. That's like the number one focus for this next push, because with the same amount of ad spend or the same amount of marketing, I know that we can get to that point and have way more fun doing those projects. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.